Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Kareem, and I am a head coach at the FDLM Weight Loss Program. And today I have the pleasure to interview Mr. Jamal-Ud-Din El-Kiki, who is an imam from Sydney, Australia.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam. So, brother Jamal, could you tell us a bit about yourself?
All right. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. My name is Jamal-Ud-Din El-Kiki. I am 30 years old, and I'm an imam, or one of the imams, at one of the main mosques here in Sydney. And I also have a background in psychology, and I also have a Sharia degree. So, alhamdulillah, coming into this program, I felt, or I considered myself to be quite accomplished on the academic side of things. But then when it came to, something like weight loss or, just getting into better shape, I felt like I was struggling there, So, I think that sort of sums it up at this point.
I think so. So, before joining FDLM, what was Jamal's life like at that point? And what made you eventually decide to join?
Yeah, I think I can sum it up in one word, which is mediocre. So like it's just, it's not that I felt like I was in crisis. With many of the other cases and the other brothers that have joined FDLM, like maybe they were pre-diabetic, something like really critical. Whereas in my case, I just thought, as long as I didn't hit like 85 kilos or more, then I'm okay. That was my general impression. So the criteria by which I would gauge whether or how bad I was in terms of weight was just in kilos. And before joining, my idea was just to get into better shape. Because no matter how much exercise I did, because I do a lot of boxing, a lot of jogging, and it's like, I'm doing all of that plus hikes. So alhamdulillah, quite active, and quite health conscious as well. That's the other thing. So the information or awareness, I thought or considered myself to be quite aware, and I considered myself to be quite active, and yet like I wasn't really achieving results. So it felt almost like I wasn't able to progress, to improve, and the only thing I was getting out of exercise was preventing regression and basically damage control, or and preventing things from sort of getting worse. That's pretty much it. So yeah, it was a bit hard, in terms of not being able to move forward. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So how did you eventually join FDLM?
It all started by following Adam Khan. So this would have been like end of last year, maybe around September. Just someone else that I follow, another active public figure, and that was through mutual friends. I got to know or got to be made aware of his profile. And I just really liked his content. I really liked how it was specifically tailored to the Muslim community in the UK and abroad. Just the issues, just raising awareness of the issues that have been normalized, despite being very abnormal. Like we live in a society and culture, especially in the Western societies. And there might be slight differences between the situation in the UK compared to Australia, but for the most part, like we've just normalized things like obesity, smoking, and as long as you're not diabetic, then we consider that to be fine. Of course, there is the issue of fat shaming, and I guess it is inappropriate, but I think to flip it around, there should be lean urging. So like when you positively frame it that way, then inshallah, that's a more appropriate way of approaching things. Lean urging.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, you took a leap of faith, so to speak. Yeah. So what made you say that, okay, these guys, they know their stuff, or I might join them. They might help me or be able to help me.
just seeing all the testimonials and following for some time, so I think, it takes time to, like, for me at least, to build trust. I could say that, the activity is organic, on, the group, for example. And actual people, like, real accounts, and, so on and so forth, like, so like, overall, just all the indicators show that, this is quite genuine. There's nothing off, there's nothing, artificial in, the data or the information, or the results, and testimonials being given. So it was at that point that, I thought, I'll take that leap of faith, and alhamdulillah, I did. I'm very grateful for that. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So now moving forward, like, after, like, you made the leap of faith and you joined us, I can remember, like, the first 2 to 3 weeks, because I was your coach.
Yeah.
It was, like, a bit difficult for you to adapt. And we had to do like a detox, so to speak. Not like actual detox food. This is like a scam for the guys watching. Don't buy those potions and lotions, etc. So we did, like, I had to eradicate all the history you have or you had about nutrition and exercise. Okay. And it was like, I gave you like a bit of tough love at the beginning, because this is coaching. I care for you. Yeah. But alhamdulillah, at some point, you said to yourself, okay, it's been like 3 weeks and I haven't, like, lost barely any weight. And you were seeing, like, the guys in the group or on the program, they were, like, progressing each week. I think that was like a critical point for yourself to step up and make a decision. Could you please, like, describe that moment or that like period, because I think people would relate to that.
Yeah. So, like, when I first joined the program, so despite, trusting everything, I was just, I wasn't sure what to expect, realistically, like, just there was, some doubt at the back of my mind on how much I'll be getting out of it. In fact, I initially joined just with the intention of just getting into better shape, not specifically to lose fat, because I actually in retrospect and hindsight, I underestimated the extent of fat that I needed to lose to get into a healthy weight. Part of my goals included, building muscle as well. So it was a very generic aim of getting into better shape. That's pretty much how it was. But in any case, like, the focus, soon became on just losing fat. And a few kilos were lost in the first couple of weeks, but then, there was a point where, instead of losing, I gained 400 grams, so that was pretty disheartening at the time. And at the same time, I just pushed on, because ultimately, I took that leap to join this program, and it was a big investment that I made. And I just wanted to make sure that I got the return on investment. That's very important for me to get a return on whatever investment I make. So I guess some of the issues that I had in the early weeks was eating back the calories. So okay, I restrict calories in the breakfast, the lunch, but then when dinner time comes, there was the issue of if I restrict, then I'll feel peckish before bedtime. And will I go to bed hungry? That was a big concern for me.
The FOMO.
So FOMO would be if any, like, special or one-off foods are brought home. So, like, sometimes something is brought home by one of my siblings or one of my parents, and it's not very often that you get that particular food, but it's very caloric. So resisting the nafs, pretty much. That's where the biggest or the toughest battle would happen. It's like the FOMO would hit really hard, in those sorts of situations at home, but also at work. There were situations at work there was one time when I was messaging you, and it's like, what do I do? But alhamdulillah, I pulled through. I figured out that, if I just tough it out for half an hour, then khalas, I can manage afterwards. It just, the storm basically passes after that. So yeah, alhamdulillah. So it's been a very it's been a journey of learning and also of development, alhamdulillah. And yeah, I think one big lesson I learned was the difference between healthy eating and weight loss friendly eating. And I think Adam pointed this out in one of his coaching calls, because I always thought of my eating as healthy, and yeah, like I did include salad, I did include vegetables, and as a family we've always done that. We've always reduced the oils and the fats in our meals. But yeah, I just didn't realize I wasn't so calorie focused, on
or where, I would say.
How many? What was that?
I said like you weren't like calorie aware.
Yeah, calorie aware.
Yeah.
Pretty much. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. So I think that was one of the main, important, shifts in my understanding through this program. Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you. So now let's talk about like the results you got working with us. So how many kilograms you lost, and what changes you saw, like in every field, like in every aspect, like energy, like focus, self-confidence, and especially because you are imam, and this is like, I want you to share your thoughts or experience. So do you think that losing the weight gave you more like confidence in your role as an imam? So you are leading by example, so to speak.
Yeah. So I think I'd need to talk first about how I felt before, because like I was very So I was becoming very self-conscious of my gut, because it would actually stick out, and it's not a nice feeling, like, and always having to sort of suck it in, just so that it doesn't, it's not too. Yeah, it was very ugly. It was a very ugly feeling, and I didn't like what I saw in the mirror whenever I sat in front of the mirror. So it was just, I wanted a solution to that, and that was part of the sense of frustration and resignation. That despite whatever, no matter how active I was, there was no change in that situation. But alhamdulillah, yeah. So that's the before, and I guess losing the gut and losing a lot of weight, around the gut and the fat folds. There were some fat folds also developing. Alhamdulillah, that definitely was a boost in confidence, in like just belief in change. Belief that there are certain strategies that will actually bring about change, and it's not just all this trial and error, and nothing works, and everyone claims different things, and it's all relative. Like alhamdulillah, like there was actual change. So that was very reassuring and very it brought about a very big boost in confidence, alhamdulillah. So that's just in terms of on a personal level, just
Okay, so the second part of the question was like in your profession, not like personal life.
Yeah,
as profession or as an imam, do you think that imams or scholars, they need to lead by example? They need to be like lean themselves to be able to be congruent with their message.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, subhanAllah, I always think about the fact that most imams would be explaining at some point, in whether it be in the khutbahs or in lessons they give, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, where he talks about controlling and limiting one's food, and that's really the essence of FDLM, because the Prophet ﷺ mentions in a hadith that it's enough for the son of Adam to eat a few morsels that keep his back upright, and if he must, then let him give or dedicate a third of his stomach to food, and a third to his drink, and a third to air. Actually, at the beginning of the hadith, he also mentions that the worst vessel that any son of Adam can fill is his stomach. So it's the worst thing he can actually fill. So that's That hyperbole, really should be something we bear in mind. And so, we hear this hadith, and I think, scholars and imams, should lead by example. We always condemn those who treat the sunnah or whatever is recommended as just a sunnah, and dismissing, recommended actions as just a sunnah. Well, what about this? Of course, the imams and scholars themselves might have their own personal struggles, that they might have tried different things, but it didn't work. And I understand that, but I think there should be that, that sincere and that sincere dedication to, the earnest dedication to try to remedy in any, physical issues, like in terms of losing weight, in terms of building muscle, that should be part of taking care of one's body. And the Prophet ﷺ, in a hadith that I shared just earlier today, or yesterday, I should say, the Prophet ﷺ did tell us that your body has a right over you. So this shouldn't just be something that we overlook or read and move on, but rather, the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is something that we should bring to life and embody and implement in our lives. It doesn't have to be fardh, it doesn't have to be compulsory for it to be implemented, but rather, we should strive, out of our love for the Prophet ﷺ and out of love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we strive to implement all the aspects of the sunnah, because, our religion is one that's holistic. It's not just, picking up a Quran and reading, but no, like Allah and His Messenger have, mentioned specific instructions with regards to our physical health, with regards to our mental health, and so on and so forth. So we shouldn't divorce, worship from, other aspects and other spheres of life.
Exactly. Perfectly said. Thank you.
Okay.
So, could you briefly describe what's life now? Your life now, the differences you saw, and do you think that you are capable or confident in your capabilities of maintaining this weight, keep it off?
Yeah. So I think first of all, in terms of the experience, so as I mentioned earlier, there's a renewed sense of confidence. Alhamdulillah, a sense of control, that I'm not just the victim of this gut that is not going to go away.
And pizzas.
And I feel like a victim of circumstances. It's like no matter how much I try, so there was helplessness before. It's like I'm whatever hours are available in the week to work out. I was dedicating quite a few hours in the week around my work hours to try to get fit and or get into shape, but it wasn't working. So I think now there's that belief in change. There's that restored faith in change. Alhamdulillah. And I also feel I feel more driven. I feel more energetic and with greater clarity of mind. Alhamdulillah. So these are just some of the benefits it's brought about. Yeah, and definitely without the gut, so I talked about how I felt before. Well, without it, I just feel, I feel presentable at least. I still do want to build some muscle. That's inshallah phase 2.
Next project, yeah.
But yeah, at least one part of the equation has been dealt with now. Alhamdulillah. I'm not sure what the rest of the question was.
Yeah, I said your capabilities. Do you think that this weight or this loss is maintainable?
Oh, absolutely. So the beauty of this program, or one of the beauties, I guess, is the fact that it deals with the mindset issues. It's not just program finishes. You go back to your old ways because it was so restrictive. Because no, it's not restrictive. There's flexibility within the program to a certain extent. In terms of what can be eaten. The main thing is to control portions and calories, but how you distribute those calories, there is flexibility in that. So that is something maintainable. And if you've properly addressed your mindset issues, if you've properly tied this whole weight loss journey to your sense of identity, of who you want to be, of in my case, being Jamal 2.0 as opposed to being Jamal 1.0, as you expressed yesterday, then, when there's that mindset shift, so then inshallah, that root cause of the old habits is entirely eliminated, and there's a shift in mindset towards more positive and more healthy outcomes, inshallah, moving forward.
Alhamdulillah. Awesome. So, like, the final question, what would you say to the people, or to the imams, basically, who are watching you? Maybe they will be interested, and maybe they're sitting on the fence, or like they're not sure. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, pray istikhara. Do your homework. Maybe just look into this program, and then once you're comfortable, just go for it. Inshallah, you will find that it's one of the best one-time investments that you make for your health. It's sometimes it lasts for some of the programs last for 12 weeks, others 24 weeks, but that's very short term, and the long-term benefits are inshallah very significant, especially in terms of preventing a deterioration of health. Like as one grows, their metabolism slows down, and as a result they have a tendency to put more fat on. So nipping this in the bud is really essential for one's long-term health outcomes, in terms of minimizing the risk of cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, and that sort of thing, which isn't just a personal cost, but it also impacts one's family, one's finances. It's very costly. If this program is expensive, well, think about the costs of those things. And unfortunately, this is a very natural way of losing fat. What tends to happen, or what I've actually seen happening in my community is, sheikhs, perhaps they don't know better. They don't know or haven't found a natural way of losing fat, but then they just resort to invasive surgery. So they do like gastric bypass surgery, which is many times the cost of a program like this, and sometimes they put the weight back on after, like it's just a few months later,
with health consequences.
Yeah, so not to mention, the consequences, the possible complications, all of that, So, go for something that is, safe, that is natural when it comes to fat loss, and deal with, prevent rather than try to cure. Prevention is better than cure.
Love it. Yeah. Thank you, Jamal. It was a really good interview. Yeah. So I need to give my version of the story, so to speak. It's been a real pleasure. Yeah, a real pleasure to work with you. I think the initial phase of the program was a bit tough, especially that it's like a religion. We're inviting new people to a new religion. We had to eradicate all like the brainwashing media did, and nutritionists, bodybuilders, and we had to adapt it to the busy person, the person who has like job, has kids, stressors.
Yeah, and that was the biggest appeal for me, because I was worried about taking too much time out for the gym, and I've got a 9 to 5 schedule, Monday to Friday, and already, the time I was dedicating to boxing, to jogs, that's enough, there's not much more I can dedicate in the week. I need family time. There needs to be balance. So so alhamdulillah, one of the biggest selling points for me was the time efficiency. I didn't have to make sure that certain meals were had at a certain time, and it wasn't logistically complicated. The time the program took, it essentially just runs in parallel with my day-to-day activity. Alhamdulillah, that was very very convenient. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So that's it, really. I just wanted to say I really enjoyed working with you, and seeing you now in a better place. It gives me fulfillment, and this is what keeps us doing what we are doing, me and Adam. So I want to thank you for accepting to come to this call and sharing your experience. I know that we haven't finished the work. We still have the second phase, which is the muscle building.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah. So yeah, I let you go. Thank you, bro Jamal. I wish you good luck in the next stage.
You're welcome. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you tawfiq and bless you always, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.